When we're talking about vice presidential picks, obviously I'm going to look at the counterpart here, and that is Kamala Harris, current vice president. She has had in this election cycle similar or lower approval ratings than Joe Biden. How does this dovetail, these numbers when we're talking about JD Vance, how does this dovetail with voter sentiment toward Vice President Kamala Harris?
Well, as we have shown in our polling consistently, Harris polls lower than Biden, both in terms of job approval and in terms of the horse race, especially in a head-to-head against Trump. However, she has near universal name identification, just like Biden and Trump have, by virtue of having been vice president for almost 4 years. JD Vance doesn't have that name ID. And as he shapes himself and as the Republican Party shapes him to be the vice presidential candidate and a potential heir apparent to Trump, there is a lot of opportunity to shape him in all the right way. Right now, voters are waiting to see, are waiting to hear about his biography, are waiting to hear about his positions, are waiting to hear about uh, uh, how JD Vance contributes to the ticket, and that's why they're largely split on questions like, does he care about people like me or not? Right? That in our poll, that specific question was 49% one way, 51% the other way, effectively a split. Of course, Republicans, they do think that he cares about people like them, and Trump voters say the same. Over 8 in 10 of Trump voters and over 8 in 10 of Republicans feel that way, but there's still room to grow, especially with independents. And that's where I would look for the numbers to start moving and the direction in which they move.
Clearly, this poll indicates that JD Vance has a lot of room to grow, but any numbers in here, anything else stick out to you?
Well, to your question, do voters see him as similar to Trump or not? 78% of the electorate does view J.D. Vance as being similar to Trump or having the potential to be very similar to Trump. And that's also 74% of Republicans. So again, there is a template for J.D. Vance, which is to be that heir apparent to Trump. Whether he follows that template or whether he plays more into the fact that he's also seen as being a moderate Republican, more than he's seen as being, very ensconced or historically ensconced with the MAGA movement. I think that's an interesting tension, and that will be something interesting to see. Right now, 54% of voters say that J.D. Vance holds mainstream views rather than more extreme, more far-right views, and 78% of Republicans say the same, including also 60% of independents. So there's this interesting tension in the numbers between voters seeing him as an heir apparent to Trump and the closest thing to the personification of the MAGA policies that Trump has within the Republican Party. At the same time, he's also seen as a mainstream politician. And it'll be interesting to see which way those numbers evolve.